All right. So are you ready to dive into the world of network marketing and really kind of level up your game? We're going to unpack some serious secrets to success here, and it all comes back to one powerful tool: storytelling.
And, we often hear about storytelling and marketing, but
Yeah.
the two podcast episodes we're going to be diving into for this deep dive,
Right.
they reveal how this goes way beyond just selling a product.
Yeah.
We're talking about psychological techniques
hmm
that you can use to be more persuasive in just about any conversation, really.
That's super interesting. And I think a lot of times when people hear that it's all about storytelling, they think,
Yeah,
oh, I already know that. But
Sure.
this goes so much deeper.
it does. It does. What's so fascinating is how much of this flies under the radar.
Yeah.
Most people assume that logic is what drives our decisions,
hmm
but the reality was much more interesting. We humans, we're wired to connect with emotions, with visions, with dreams. And that's the stuff that great stories are made of.
It is. Okay, so let's unpack this a little bit. I mean, we've all been swept away by a great movie or a
Yeah.
book, right? You laugh, you cry, you feel like you're living those experiences right alongside the characters.
Right.
But how does that translate to the world of selling?
Right.
And even more broadly than that,
Yeah.
how does it translate to just our everyday conversations?
Well, think about it this way. When somebody tells you a story
hmm
that really captivates you, your brain doesn't just process the words.
Right.
It lights up with activity. Different regions are connecting.
Wow.
It's triggering emotions. It's forming these vivid mental images. And so what stories do is they bypass those logical filters that we all have
Interesting.
and tap right into the subconscious.
Okay.
And believe it or not, about 90% of our decisions are actually made in the subconscious mind.
Hold on. 90%. So
Yeah.
you're saying that most of our choices are happening before we even consciously realize it.
That's exactly it.
Wow, that's pretty mind-blowing.
It is, and it highlights such a crucial insight into how we can influence others, right?
Yeah,
Because people make decisions emotionally, and then they justify them with logic.
interesting.
So if you want to be truly influential, you need to speak to the heart, not just the head.
Okay.
Now, how does this apply in network marketing, right?
Yeah,
Instead of just bombarding potential customers with facts and figures,
right.
you have to weave those details into a story that resonates with them on a deeper level.
So it's not just about what you're selling, it's
Right.
about how you're selling it.
Exactly.
You're saying it's about crafting a narrative that makes people feel something.
Precisely. Now, these podcast episodes, they lay out a really effective framework they call the big picture story.
Okay.
And it's a very concise, like 2-minute narrative
All right.
that's designed to capture your prospect's attention and make them want to hear more. Think of it as a blueprint for crafting a really compelling story that truly connects.
Okay, so break down this 2-minute story framework for us. Where do we even begin?
It starts with identifying a relatable problem.
Okay.
Think about your target audience. What are their pain points? What are their struggles? What keeps them up at night? What are they struggling with? You really want to tap into those shared experiences that make people feel seen and understood.
So it's not just about like launching into your pitch right away. You're saying you first have to build this foundation of empathy.
Exactly. Yeah. Once you've established that common ground, you then introduce your opportunity as the solution.
Right.
But here's the key. Don't just state the obvious.
Okay.
You have to paint a vivid picture of how your product or service is going to alleviate their pain points and improve their lives.
Got it.
Let them actually envision the transformation.
Hey, so instead of saying like this product will help you lose weight,
Yeah.
I'd say something more like imagine how good it'll feel to put on your favorite pair of jeans and feel confident and energetic.
Now you're getting it. But we're not done yet.
Oh, there's more.
There's one more. The final and perhaps the most crucial step is to paint a picture of their life after they say yes.
Okay.
This is where you tap into the power of visualization. Help them see themselves experiencing those benefits, achieving their goals, and really living their best life.
So it's about creating a sense of possibility. You're almost taking them on a mental journey to their desired future.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the more vivid and emotionally resonant that journey is, the more compelling your story will be.
This is making me rethink how I approach conversations, period. It feels like we're tapping into some pretty deep psychological principles here.
Oh, absolutely.
This is way bigger than just making a sale.
It is. And what's fascinating is that these principles extend far beyond the realm of network marketing.
Yeah.
We're talking about fundamental techniques for building trust,
Mm.
belief, and rapport in any interaction.
So whether you're selling a product, pitching an idea, or just trying to connect with somebody on a more personal level, these techniques could be incredibly valuable. These podcasts actually lay out 13 specific ways to unlock what they call instant influence. But before we dive into that, let's just make sure we've nailed down the core of this 2-minute story framework.
Absolutely.
So to recap,
A well-crafted big picture story is a powerful tool in your communication arsenal.
yeah.
Remember, people don't buy products or ideas, they buy emotions. They buy transformations.
So even if I have like the best product in the world,
Right.
it won't matter if I can't tell a story that connects with people on an emotional level.
That's the key takeaway here. It's about making people feel something,
Okay.
not just think something.
Wow, so interesting. All right, now I'm really curious about these 13 influence techniques. Let's dive in.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's unlock some of these 13 techniques.
Okay.
And I think you'll find that even though these podcast episodes that we're diving into are geared toward network marketing, these are tools that you can apply to just about any situation where you're trying to connect with someone
Yeah,
and be more persuasive.
I'm all ears. Give me the secrets.
Well, one that really stood out to me is the use of what they call word pictures.
Okay.
And remember how we were talking about how stories activate different parts of the brain?
Yeah.
Word pictures tap right into that
Okay.
by creating these really vivid mental images for your listener.
Okay.
So, for example, instead of just saying, our product's going to make you feel more confident,
Right.
you would say something like, imagine walking into a room and just feeling like you own it. Heads turn, smiles light up. You just radiate this energy that draws people in.
Ooh, I like that. You're not just telling them,
Right.
you're letting them experience it in their mind.
Exactly.
It's almost like a mini movie playing in their head.
Exactly.
What else? What else do we have in this arsenal of influence?
And another really powerful one is social proof. You know how you're more likely to try a restaurant if it's packed with happy customers?
For sure.
Yeah, our brains are wired to follow the crowd. So if you can weave in testimonials or success stories from other people who have benefited from your product or your opportunity,
Right.
it just adds instant credibility.
It makes total sense. Like, well, if it worked for them, maybe it can work for me too.
Right.
Okay, so I'm curious though, how do you use these techniques in situations that aren't about making a sale?
Yeah.
Like, say, convincing my family to try a new vacation spot,
Okay.
or getting my team on board with a new project at work.
Yeah, let's take that team scenario. Imagine you're trying to implement a new project management system, but you kind of know there's going to be some resistance to
Right.
making that change.
Yeah.
So instead of diving right into all the features and benefits, start by acknowledging their current pain points. Right. Say something like, we've all been so frustrated with how disorganized our projects have been lately. We're missing deadlines. Things are slipping through the cracks, and it's just causing unnecessary stress.
Okay, so you're validating their feelings
Yes.
and showing that you understand the problem. I can already see how that would make people a lot more receptive from the get-go.
Exactly. You're building that buy-in from the start. And then you introduce the new system as the solution,
Right.
but you frame it in a way that speaks directly to their emotions.
Or what?
You might say something like, imagine a system where everything is streamlined, deadlines are clear, we're all on the same page. No more scrambling at the last minute, no more missed deadlines, just smooth sailing and a sense of accomplishment.
So you're painting this picture of a much calmer, more organized work life.
Exactly.
You wouldn't want that.
Right. And then to really seal the deal, you could sprinkle in some social proof.
Okay.
Mention how other teams have implemented this system and seen amazing results. Increased productivity, improved morale, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, it's like you're creating this irresistible pull towards the solution
Yeah.
by tapping into their desire for a better, less stressful work environment. It's not about forcing it on them.
Right.
It's about making them want it.
Exactly.
I really like that. One thing I'm finding really intriguing is this idea of influencing the subconscious mind.
Yeah.
Are there any techniques that kind of play with that more directly?
Absolutely. One that they highlight is using yes questions.
Okay.
And it's such a subtle but powerful way to guide someone towards a conclusion
Okay.
by getting them into a pattern of agreement.
Yeah.
So you start with a series of questions they're very likely to say yes to.
Mm-hmm.
You build that momentum
Okay.
and then lead them to the final yes that you're aiming for.
So instead of saying, like, you should really invest in this opportunity,
Right.
I might ask, do you want to achieve financial freedom? Do you believe in taking control of your future? Do you want to be your own boss?
Yeah,
And by the time I get to, are you ready to join my team? They've already said yes so many times.
exactly.
It just feels like the natural next step.
You got it. It's about subtly shifting their mindset
Okay.
and creating that flow of positive agreement.
I like that.
Now, another technique that really plays on the subconscious
Yeah.
is something called the open loop.
The open loop. Okay.
And this is all about piquing curiosity
Okay.
and keeping people hooked.
Okay, give me an example. How does that work?
Let's say you're at a networking event
Mm-hmm.
and you want to leave someone wanting more, right?
Right.
Instead of just handing them your business card and saying, here's my information,
Right.
you might say something like, I've helped dozens of people in your industry achieve incredible success using this unique strategy I developed. I'd love to share it with you sometime.
So you're not giving them all the information up front,
Right.
but you're leaving them with this burning question. What's the strategy? That's pretty clever.
It's about creating a sense of intrigue and anticipation.
Yeah.
They'll be much more likely to follow up
Yeah.
if you've sparked that curiosity. Now, these are just a few of the 13 techniques.
Right.
But what's so exciting is how you can start to combine these
Yeah.
and adapt them to different situations.
Yeah, I think what stands out to me is that these aren't just like manipulative tricks.
Right.
It's more about understanding how communication works on a
Yes.
deeper level
Yeah.
and using that knowledge to build genuine connections and influence outcomes.
You hit the nail on the head. It's about approaching conversations with intention
Mm-hmm.
and using these tools to create those win-win situations.
Okay, so we've uncovered some seriously powerful stuff here.
Yeah.
But you know what they say? With great power comes great responsibility.
Right.
I think it's really important to talk about like the ethical side of using these influence techniques.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to see how this could slip into like manipulation if we're not careful.
It's a really, really important point.
Yeah.
These techniques are powerful tools.
Yeah.
And like any tool, they can be used for good or for bad.
Right.
It really all comes down to your intention and your approach.
Yeah.
We're not talking about tricking people into doing things they don't want to do.
Right.
We're talking about using these techniques
Yeah.
to communicate more effectively,
Mm.
to connect with people on a deeper level,
Right.
and to create those mutually beneficial outcomes.
Okay, so how do we make sure we're using these techniques ethically?
Right.
Like, what are some guidelines to keep in mind?
Well, I think first and foremost, always be authentic.
Yeah.
People can sense when you're being fake or manipulative.
Right.
If you're genuinely passionate about what you're offering
Yeah.
and you truly believe that it can benefit other people,
Yeah.
that authenticity is going to shine through.
It's not about putting on a show. It's not about using these techniques to like pressure people into doing something. It's about coming from a place of genuine care and wanting to make a positive impact.
Absolutely. Another really key principle is transparency. Be upfront about your intentions.
Yeah.
What are you hoping to achieve?
Right.
Don't try to hide your motives or mislead people.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about building credibility and trust, right?
Absolutely.
People are much more likely to be open to your message if they feel like you're being honest and straightforward with them.
Yeah. And always, always respect people's boundaries.
Right.
If someone says no, respect that decision.
Yeah.
Don't pressure them. Don't guilt trip them.
Mm-hmm.
Let them make their own choice.
It's about honoring their autonomy,
Yes.
recognizing they have the right to make their own choices,
Yeah.
even if those choices are not what we were hoping for.
Exactly. And just remember, these techniques are about enhancing your communication skills, not about becoming some sort of master manipulator.
Right.
The most effective communication comes from a place of empathy and a genuine desire to connect with other human beings.
I like that. It's about understanding what makes people tick, what motivates them, what are their fears, their aspirations,
Yeah.
and then using that understanding to craft messages that resonate with them on a deeper level.
You got it. Now, before we wrap up, I want to leave you with this.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine a world where you can walk into any room and just effortlessly connect with people, inspire them, make a real difference.
Wow, that sounds pretty amazing.
It is. And the best part is it's not some unattainable dream, right?
Yeah.
By mastering the art of storytelling and incorporating these influence techniques into our everyday
Hmm.
interactions, we can all become more persuasive, more impactful, and more fulfilling communicators.
Well, this has been an eye-opening deep dive.
Yeah.
I feel like I've learned a whole new way of looking at communication and
Hmm.
understanding how we can influence outcomes
Right.
without having to resort to manipulation or trickery. It's really about tapping into our own authenticity and using these tools to create more meaningful connections and make a positive impact on the world around us.
Well said.
So go out there, experiment with these techniques,
Yeah.
and see what amazing results you can achieve.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us for this incredible journey.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive into the fascinating world of ideas and insights.